we would maybe be a little bit too boyfriend and girlfriend with things than like director producer, where like, there might be like a tone from one of us that's like more like upset about like a boyfriend girlfriend thing.
Said something.
There was one particular moment. We don't have to get into it specifically. There's one particular moment that I'm thinking of right now.
No. Quiet on set. Marker. Action.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Professional Amateur Podcast. I am your host, Jacob Harding, joined today by the lovely, beautiful, and incredible Maddie Main. For those who don't know, Maddie is my girlfriend. She's also the producer of this podcast, our feature film Paralysis, and pretty much every project I've got coming up. So Maddie, quickly explain what you do and what your background is.
I feel like I'm like all over the place in the realm of film. Like I'm writer, director, and producer, kind of like how you are, but I feel like I'm more of doing any of the other positions where you mainly are just a more writer and director. But that's one of the things I love to do is doing all different types of things. And yeah. What was the other question?
That was it. Just explaining what your background is, babe.
Yeah.
So before we get into working together, which is primarily what this episode's about, would you like to explain how we met? I'll tell my version.
Oh.
Or who wants to go first? Your version, my version?
Let's do your version so I can correct it.
Okay. My version of this is, and a lot of this was not discovered till later in our relationship. Well, early in our relationship, I guess. Maddie followed me on Instagram about 2 years before we met, before I even knew she existed. I like to say that she was a fan and she was following me because of that. But, well, that is kind of why you're following me, I guess.
Yeah.
That is why.
But you have told people
the reality is that she was stalking me and she thought I was hot.
Which is wrong.
Except she did unfollow me around February and then follow me back right around Valentine's Day.
I don't understand.
The Valentine's Day before we met. So
I don't understand your thinking behind this, and I do not.
Anyways,
as a person who did that, that wasn't the reason.
The intention,
No, that wasn't.
Anyways, how we ended up getting introduced to each other, she had met my sister. My sister sent her Instagram to me and was like, hey, this girl's really cute. You should ask her out while you're home for Christmas. And I said, sure. I asked Maddie out to go to the coffee, and she replied with...
No, there was some...
a thumbs up. Okay, we had talked a little bit, and then she left me on red. And then I stood up in our story again. She replied once. I replied, then she left me on red. And then when I finally asked her out to coffee, she replied with a emoji, just a thumbs up. That was it. Thumbs up emoji. And I was like, I cannot tell where this girl's head's at, if she is excited for this date or not. We go on the date, and when I get to the coffee shop, I see some people that I used to know, and I'm like, oh, hey, what are you guys doing here? And they're like, oh, we own this coffee shop. And I was like, oh, cool, I never knew that. And they're like, yeah, you're here for your date with Maddie, right? And I was like,
exposed.
And I was like, how does everyone know about this date when she doesn't seem excited about it at all? Because her sister also texted my sister. Say you forgot Chloe. Yeah, her sister also texted my sister. I was like, why is your brother asking my sister on a date? And so, yeah, so everyone seemed to be excited about this date except for her. We go on the date, and we got coffee for like 2 hours, and it's pretty nice. And I'm like, what are you doing after this? And she's like, nothing. I'm like, cool. We go bowling. We bowl. And I'm like, are you hungry? And she's like, yes. And then we go Chick-fil-A and have dinner where there's a video I'll play of us being there. I went to Back in Time too.
Which is?
A comic book and toy shop in Kansas City. Shout out Back in Time. It's great.
We still go there.
We still go there all the time. We ended up going on 2 more dates basically while I was in Kansas City.
Technically, we only went on 1 more after.
One was at her house, which I consider because it was it wasn't a date, but it was like...
to get to know.
You get to know each other, but still. And then, yeah, we were essentially long distance for a year after that. We still saw each other a lot, but we were long distance. During that's when we made Paralysis and everything. And then about 6 months ago, Maddie moved to LA, and now we are no longer long distance. We're in the same town, and it's been very, very nice. So... Do you want to correct any of my statements that you didn't already correct?
The real version, I will try and say this as quickly as possible. So I was the only one out of my friends who wanted to like actually go into like a very creative field. And somehow no one ever told me about Jake. I don't know how they didn't, because so many of my friends knew of him. But one of a mutual family friend, shout out to Mrs. Ewing, reposted, I don't know which music video, but
I think we assume it's Cry.
Yeah, it was one of the music videos for Sam. So like I got to see, okay, these are guys from Kansas City out in LA. They're being creative. They're doing films. So like Jake said, for 2 years, I followed him without like saying anything. And I remember working on other projects with other friends in college, showing them your guys' music videos. And it was like, I want to be like this. I want to make stuff like this. And then not too long. That was my last semester of college too. So it was like a few months later, I got to actually meet you. But yeah, so I met his sister and was like, I love to ask your brother questions and how life is, you know. And then... yes, so Jake slid up in my DMs. But
I did.
Keep in mind, everybody, keep in mind, this is my last semester. It's final season. Like literally, it's in December. So I'm about to graduate like in a week or two. And it's finals. I was working on my thesis film and trying to get it done and having it in theaters. So I was super busy and like trying to move back home. So my brain wasn't like, oh, this guy might be interested in me.
She thought it was a business meeting.
I thought it was a business meeting. I didn't just do a thumbs up. There were some other conversations, but I will say I did do a thumbs up. But I mean, to be fair, I will say this for maybe the women in the film industry that, you know, similar to me. I mean, me and Russ have talked about this, how sometimes we can feel used. And that was something I felt of being used by other creatives because you're working together. It's so fun. And I was worried about that with you because I looked up to you for so long and was, you know, my brain was just like, okay, there's no way this could ever happen. I just like left that aside. I was like, okay, you know, maybe we'll work on something together in the future, or maybe this is just advice, sitting at coffee. But, you know, sitting there at the coffee shop, I was like, I think this might be a date. And then at Chick-fil-A, I don't know when Jake will show this video, is when I was like, I think this is the man who I've been waiting for since I was 7 years old, when I was like, I'm going to be intentionally praying for this man, writing letters for this man, and not dating around, you know? So I was like, wow, this man is right here. And that was on the first date.
Pretty good at first dates, I guess. Not really. I've been on not that many. Okay, well, that's how we met, and we've been together for, as of this recording, over a year and a half. Mm-hmm. It's been beautiful. We've really loved it. I think everyone likes us together, right, Russ? So going to the next question to transition over the topic of our episode. How did we begin our working relationship? I kind of know the answer to this. I knew it was going to, I always assumed it was going to happen. I just kind of waited for you to ask. So if you want to say what it was, you can.
I don't remember. I feel like it was before you came in town to see me. I don't remember when it was, but I remember you were talking about Paralysis. I mean, we talked about it on the first date, but, you know, we were just talking about it, and I was keeping my mouth shut. Like I said before, I didn't want to be used, you know, in the sense of, oh, this is all this friendship relationship is for just to use me. So I kept my mouth shut for a while, but then I remember there was something we were talking about, and I remember being on the phone with you, and I was like, can I please help you? And you're like, yeah. And I was like, okay, sweet. And then like, I just, you know, we got our first investor because I was like dwelling for so long, and I was like, okay, I want to help him. I want to do this. But it took me a while because I wanted to, you know, have that security of this man isn't using me. He's falling in love with me as much as I'm falling in love with him.
Amen. I think that the biggest thing was that I always knew that this would happen. I assumed it would happen. I mean, I think we'll touch on this later, but I was mixed on working with my significant other because I've seen a lot of couples that work with their significant other and the bad side of that, and how for some couples, it kind of seems like they are more like they work together more than they are actually just a married couple. Like they just are their coworkers that happen to be married and have kids more than they're in love and they have kids and they also work together. Like I've seen a lot of relationships like that. So we were very like careful when starting it, but I always kind of knew it was going to happen as we started dating because it just was like inevitable because it was inevitable. And I think that also like you didn't really think of yourself much as a producer, but I saw in you the qualities of a great producer, and that's what I hate doing.
And that's what my professor said too. And I was like, no, I'm going to direct, but I do enjoy
you still are a good director, but I think you are a really great producer. So transition to that, let's talk about Paralysis. So when we shot Paralysis, when we shot Paralysis, it was like we've been dating for 6 months, maybe 7 months.
I know. I was like, we weren't dating very long.
We like even before that, when we get into pre-production, like Maddie said, we were like dating for 3-4 months at the time of pre-production start. She got us our first investor like a month into being a producer that helped us kind of like feel confident enough to go forward with the project. And yeah, we just kind of went at this really big career stage for both of us while very early in our relationship. And as you'll hear, it was definitely probably the biggest test of our relationship. And I'm happy we did it then. But it was definitely difficult, but also great. So let's start off by talking about the highs. What were the highs of making Paralysis together?
I mean, at least like being on set. I love being on set with you and watching you be in your element and watching you grow and watching, you just work and being there for you, not every day or every moment of every day I was beside you, but, helping in the office and getting stuff done and doing that. I really did like it. And also like the pre-production. I mean, even still now what we're doing, we have our meetings, just us two, to talk about things. And, I really appreciate that because I didn't know what it would be like being in a relationship with someone who wasn't a creative, but here we're in a relationship with each other that we're creatives and we can help each other out, have these conversations and not just do it alone. And that's what I really appreciate about it.
Yeah. I think I love the same things. I think what I loved was, I think like embracing that role on set, because it was the biggest project you ever done. You hadn't really been on truly an actual set in certain terms, and Paralysis was like your real first
for sure
big production. And I remember we kind of did like, we had a lot of conversations leading up, like almost like a boot camp between me and you of like, here's how production works, this is how it's going to go, and how well you executed that. Because I don't think anyone really would have known unless they were told it was your first time doing this. And just seeing you embrace that and see that you truly are really good at it. Like it wasn't just like my thought process and instincts that you'd be good, that you actually were genuinely good at it. And that was awesome. And that's always been a great part. And I think it was cool to also see like your family embrace that too, and your friends, and just like see this like new side of you, and like fully embrace that side of your artistry. I think that was really awesome. And just creating something with you was, and having you there from the beginning and still in it now, and just like working towards each other with that is great. And having you part of all of the high moments and the low moments, which we're talking about now. Yes. So what were the lows?
Ooh, the lows. There's a few. I think you brought this up in a previous episode about a production designer having to let go. That was really tough.
It was tough.
And luckily my dad is an attorney and he was helping us like look over things. No. Not that there was a whole lot of paperwork or whatever, but to have that to where it was like, we need to make sure we're good and to make sure everything's fine. That was really tough. Also just paperwork. Sorry.
Paperwork's a pain.
It is a pain. And I think the difference for me, like you kind of said, it was I never really had a real set experience until this. I went from doing literally almost everything for my own sets. Obviously I had crew members doing stuff, but it wasn't as legit as what Paralysis was. And so there's things I'm like learning and wrestling with. A really, really big thing for me that still like stinks to this day, like I guess the one other project we've been on, but it's that we don't go home together at the end of the day. That was a really big thing, at least for me. I really struggled with it because I know, one, for you as the director, that takes a lot of brain power during the day, and watching you, or you know, not being able to discuss things. It's like, okay, we have 12 hours together, but it's not.
And that's what I was gonna say was like the big low, because like relationship wise, mostly what I'm referring to, it was like the balance of relationship versus like producer director relationship, and that was really tough because, you know, we didn't go home together. We went to different places very far from each other, and we had to carpool with a lot of people, so usually it was kind of like, you're good today, love you, mwah, bye, and then that was it. And then the weekends were tough for us because even though it was like the weekend and we had it off,
we wanted to sleep,
we were still working, and we had a lot of conflict in terms of like, I really kind of wanted to just like relax and do nothing, but you wanted to make sure, which is good, that we were still going out and doing things together and spending that time together. And so I know there was a lot of times where like we would kind of butt heads on that. And it would be hard finding that balance of like, okay, like as the director and the producer, we need to rest. We need to like take a break.
That's one thing.
But also it was like, it was also like, oh, but we should go get dinner together because we're boyfriend and girlfriend and we need to spend time together like that. And it was very tough. And it was very hard finding that balance. I think we started to get it towards the end. Like that was that first or second weekend. I know there was like one day in particular where it was like, it was really difficult. It was really tough on us.
I feel like it's whatever week that we did the party scene, because
that was the second weekend. So we were probably exhausted. This was like now 10 days in.
You got sick.
I got sick. This was post firing. It was a lot on us, and it was really hard to manage our relationship too. And like, again, we are 7 months into dating. This is a lot throwing all at once. And I think that was a big low, but into that, what did we learn from it? I think we did learn better, honest communication. I think that, you know, we learned like, when is it that it is time for us to go and like enjoy time together, but also like have that space of like relaxing and saying all this too. We're also long distance at this point. So it's like, there's also a pressure of like, once this is over, we're not going to see each other again for however much amount of time. So we're like, we're trying to capitalize on that too. So it was really hard to balance it, but I think we did get a better idea of that balance. I think obviously in a different world, it would have been better if we had done like 2 or 3 short films together and then the feature, but we started with the feature, and that was a lot. But I think that it taught us both a ton and how like we are both going to work on it. Because there's also times on set where like, you know, we would maybe be a little bit too boyfriend and girlfriend with things than like director producer, where like, you know, there might be like a tone from one of us that's like more like upset about like a boyfriend girlfriend thing.
Said something.
There was one particular moment. We don't have to get into it. There's one particular moment that I'm thinking of right now. But where like, we can talk about it if you want to talk about it. It's okay.
I don't remember. What was it?
So it was that.
Oh wait, sorry. Continue. But I think
it was. You like had your hand out for something. Like I thought you were trying to grab the trash I had in my hand, so I handed you my trash. And I handed you my trash because I just like, I don't know, you're my girlfriend. And I thought you were just trying to help me with something. And then you were like, in front of like all the crew in the room, you were like, I am not your mother. You can throw away your own trash. And it made me very upset because it was a hard conflict of thing, because it's like, one, she is right. I just thought that's what she was trying to do and help me out. But two, I'm the director, she's the producer. That's not a good thing to say in front of the entire crew. And that's mostly what I was upset about, because I was like, if you said that to me privately, that'd be different. But that felt more like a annoyed girlfriend saying something to her boyfriend in front of, and then because then everyone in the room goes, ooh, like
that is my bad.
Mom and dad are fighting, and then it's just like, oh my gosh, we still have 8 hours in the day.
I will say probably why my mind was like that, because I take your trash, but I think I don't know. But like,
she needs to do that.
Not that I need to, but you know, I think, I don't know if this is a good excuse, but like it was very difficult at the end of the day. You know, we didn't have every single role like an actual film set had, so we don't have PA, like tons of PAs every day that can go around collecting trash, you know. and we're wasting money for X, Y, and Z because people don't put names on water bottles. You know, indie film things that are in my head. And I think I was just like probably tired and fed up of trash everywhere. I mean, I probably left stuff too. And so that's probably why I said it. Yeah. And I am so sorry.
It's okay, babe.
But yeah, I mean, I'm glad you said this because it is a good example of, yeah, that is a boyfriend-girlfriend conversation. Yeah. That is not a director and producer conversation.
And it's something we learned to separate more from this. And like we learned to grow in our roles and like where we did our best work. And then we're able to move on with it. Speaking of moving on, let's talk about the other project that we've collaborated together.
Oh, we did want to add something.
Okay, add something.
A very like nice thing that I found was that we, even though some people would still be in the room with us, but we would have lunch together. Even if we didn't talk, we still were like, you know, when it was our lunchtime, we would still sit together. I think
even that day when we were upset with each other, we still had lunch together.
Yeah. But, you know, I think that's a good thing. Yeah. Like, yeah, you're supposed to be on your break, but it's a good thing to still do when at least you're not working, even if you're not talking.
Yeah. We made sure we did that every day. We always had lunch. I like to have lunch by myself as the director. I don't like to be with all the crew and stuff. But it's just because like there's a lot going on in my head, and the only quiet time I get in the day really is lunch.
I think we rarely talked unless it was like
usually usually just be like we just sit next to each other, and you know I just sit and
I think I'd laid my head on.
Yeah, it was very sweet. I love doing that. I love that we've kind of kept that going always. That's a good thing to remember. I kind of forgot we did that. I love that. So speaking of learning these things, let's talk about the next project, Diary of the Last Bride. We swapped places here. You were the director, I was the producer, and this is also a short film, so it's a little different. But let's start with the highs of that switch.
Ooh, I think just leaning on you a lot, like that was really cool, and also being able to watch you for technically 3+ weeks of being a director for a feature film. I learned a lot more. I got more confident, I think, in myself, but also self-conscious because it's like, oh, Jake did this. I really like that, but how can I do that, you know? Yeah. But also leaning on you as my producer, as someone who, you know, I work very well with and I love working with, but also someone who is going to be honest with me. I think you are one of the best critics for me because I know everything is like, it's all love, you know, whether it is negative, something needs to change, or, I mean, for a day you were my first AD and you're like, you know, doing your job.
I did call action on accident once.
I think it was fine. But, you know, if someone I know is
you were like, look at me like, I was like,
well, because I was like, just imagine.
Yeah, I know.
You like
I wouldn't have liked that, so I know.
But I was fine. But knowing you know what you're doing and trusting you in it, and that you are someone I can lean on who's going to give me feedback no matter if it's good or bad and how to improve. And that means a lot to me because I feel like you know so much, and that was really great. And also I leaned on you on a lot of things and still learning, and I love that.
I would agree with all that. I think it was cool to see you in a different role and to come alongside you on that and help you with it. It was good seeing, because I was a tough producer at times. I was trying to do my best to make sure that like you were doing it to the best of your ability and that it made sense what we were doing.
Yeah. I mean, even script wise, like you read every version.
I was very critical on the script.
And I'm very thankful. I mean, version 1 to version whatever is so different.
Yeah. And it was cool to see it all executed finally, you know, like when it actually came to the day. And like, that's how I typically am as a producer. Is I am very heavy when I'm producing for other people. I'm very heavy on in production and very light. I'm very heavy on in pre-production, very light in production. I kind of let the director do what they need to. I don't get in their way unless I feel like there's something I need to say. Like there's like only once or twice where I was like, hey, babe, I think you should get a shot like this, or I think maybe we should try it this way. For the most part, I just kind of was there to help if I needed to. I got the food and stuff like that. And that was really cool to see it all be executed. I would say the low, and this would kind of get into the learning thing too, I think the low was my initial criticism of the script because I was really nervous to give you that criticism because I remember asking you,
yes,
I was like,
do you want a
boyfriend or do you want a producer for the script. I was like, because as your boyfriend, I'll just say it's great, babe. As your producer, I will tell you what's wrong with it.
I was like, I want both.
She's like, I want both.
You are my boyfriend that is my producer. I want you to be both because I feel like I am your girlfriend that's a producer.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, I can do that. It's just like I might need to be a little bit more a producer sometimes, and we agreed that was okay. So I was. But that was hard at first because I didn't want to hurt your feelings or like let you down in any way like that. And I think that like another like low was probably this is separate, but I know like the weather, it looks good in the finished film. Well, it's not finished yet, but in the film where it is right now. But like I know you were really concerned about the weather because it ended up being a week where it was raining like all 3 days. It doesn't rain very much in LA, but we chose the time where it chose to rain 3 days in a row. And it was difficult, and I was having to work with her on like changing her schedule. I feel
like I was really ticked off at you saying like you need to change dates. I'm like, no.
You were very upset at that. You were very upset when I suggested you switch locations for filming because you wanted to go to this beach really far away and not to just Santa Monica, which is a lot closer. And I was like, for the sake of your crew, for the sake of your budget, for the sake of your time, I would highly suggest you just go to Santa Monica. I think you can get exactly what you want there. And do you think I was right, or was I wrong?
I believe the fifth. I'm kidding. I mean what we got I do love, but also in the back of my head I'm like, I wonder if, but I do like it. But just where I wanted it to be, I was like, maybe for something else.
Yeah, I think that's just something that you have to pick up on in filmmaking is like, the more you do, the more at times you do have to sacrifice what you want on set for the betterment of your crew and everyone around you. But you can still get what you want. And sometimes it's just what you have to do. Like I talked about that in the last episode with Second Choice, where, not the last episode, the 2 episodes ago, and Second Choice, where, I had to make a call on leaving a location, even though it was what we wanted, and we'd figure out what to do differently later. And what we did was a lot better.
Yeah, I will say what you advised, changing locations, changing around days of shooting. What you were saying is what we did, and it worked out so much better, and it was very nice, even though the first day when I wanted it to be whatever it was, still had actual like sunshine, even though it said it was supposed to rain all day, and then it was the beach or whatever, there was no sunshine. So I was like, whatever, this is what
the reason we changed it was because we wanted sun during the beach, and there ended up being no sun during the beach, but I think it still fit better for the shooting schedule. But it's okay, that's how it works. What did we learn from this? I think it was, once again, being honest with each other. I think it was like learning to be more critical of each other's work, but in a loving way. Because I think it leads to better stuff. It led to a better film, better script. And I think it really worked.
Yeah. What did I learn is that you will always fight for me and fight for my projects. I don't know. I feel like I'm realizing that even more during the editing process of like, you very much fight for what I'm wanting and like helping me with it, like
trying to help you find out how to do it.
Yeah, find out how to do it, where I'm like still editing this project and I'm just so upset and frustrated, and you're helping me with it. You're not just like figure it out yourself. You're very you're very helpful with that. And I don't know, when I think of it, and even more so of like being on set together, is I do feel like we do fight for each other. Yeah. For what we want, That's
what a good producer does for their director. They fight for what they want. They fight for their vision. So,
facts.
One thing I wanted to piggyback off of what Maddie said about like watching me direct and like wanting to like, oh, well, Jake did this, so I want to do that, blah blah. I do really want to say to everyone out there that directing is very much a subjective thing, and that you have to make your own decisions on set. You should not replicate one director's thing. I think you should take a lot of advice from lots of filmmakers and implement it, because at the end of the day, it's your own independent thing, which I think is what Maddie probably realized in the end. But that's just an important thing that I want to like stress.
Well, to be fair, I don't think I saw very many directors or very many examples. It's like whatever I did, I was like, well, this is what makes sense for me. So this is how I'm going to lead a cast and crew, where I got to see you actually lead a legit cast and crew where every role was filled and everything. To where it's like, wow, that's how you do it.
How has working together impacted our relationship, you think? I mean, we've kind of already said this. I feel like it's brought a lot more trust in our relationship and a lot more honesty and honestly probably grown us closer together quicker than it would have apart from working.
For sure, because it's so important for us. We both we both realized we wanted to be creative people and have creative roles. You were 14 or 13? 12, sorry. And I was 13. And like having that dream and vision for so long and having someone to come together to help with that, I think that truly has impacted us and just growing closer together and being, like I said before, fighting for each other, fighting for our dreams and our projects, and also being able to talk to each other about things. Like even on the car right here, we were talking about some stuff where it's like, this is what I want to do. Okay, well, we'll figure it out. Don't know when this will...
We don't know when, We got lots on the docket right now.
Yes.
What are some things you think we need to improve on in our working relationship? Without getting too... Maybe this is a borderline problematic question, but...
Dangerous.
What are things we need to improve on?
This can also... doesn't have to be like, you need to do better at this. It can be more of just a thing of like us together. Because I have something you want me to start first.
Okay.
I think it is like, and we are actively trying to do this, but it is like dedicating more time specifically to our creative fields. I think that, just being personal, I kind of lost sight of Paralysis for like a month. I was working on other things. I was working on making money, which is good, but I didn't like that I lost sight of that. And I think you could probably say the same thing for yourself, that you also during that time weren't really focused on Paralysis. I mean, for a while, I think you weren't super focused on, it's not a bad thing, but we weren't super focused on Paralysis. Yeah, I mean, Russ, same. Like, I think a lot of us, like, it's when you work on something for such a long time, it's easy to lose sight of it. So I think one thing we're trying to do right now is dedicate more time to our creative endeavors.
And we're fixing that.
We are right now. We're working on that.
We're working on
tomorrow. We're actually working on
Thursday.
That. Tomorrow and Thursday. We're doing Tuesdays and Thursdays where we're working specifically on our creative fields if we're currently unemployed, which we both are. And so, she works remote. I'm unemployed. I work freelance film production.
Yeah, we're both freelance.
Yeah. So we are currently not working on any sets, so we're able to dedicate more time to ourselves. And so that's like one thing I think for sure. Do you have another thing that you think?
I agree with that. But also I think it can be hard when we're both, I know you're not fully, like, you don't want to be a producer, but you don't mind doing that. But like, in the realm of you have your projects, I have mine, and how to like not just be on one person, but to share the love of things, to where it's like, to be fair, Paralysis is such a big thing right now.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing that like makes it difficult, is because like when we're trying to share the love, like you said, like yours is a short film, where mine is ours is a feature, and so it's like that one just is over our heads always. And so it is finding that balance of like, I think that is something we do need to improve on, is like find that balance of, and we've tried, we have been trying, we've been talking about doing more edits for Diary Last Bride. I've even talked about doing a pass on it and stuff like that, and trying to get that worked out. But also now that we got this podcast and we got this feature, we got the next features we want to make, we got other projects for you, so it's like it is figuring out.
I think also learning how to do that for each other for the future. Like you said, we have a lot of things on the docket, but like we're so young and we're still learning how to really do that well for each other.
Absolutely. I think also being creatively satisfied in doing the other person's project too. I think that's like important to work on too. Where like we both feel satisfied, even when in like, you might be in the director chair and I'm in the producer chair, or vice versa, that we're both happy and satisfied, which I think we mostly are, but like definitely something to put more attention onto. What do you think we do best together?
I think you directing, me producing.
I agree with that.
I think I'm very much problem solving, making sure everything's organized, and that whole realm, and being that support for you.
Bigger picture. Yeah. And I think I agree with that. I think that, while I don't like producing, I do prefer producing for other people than myself. So when we are on set together and I'm directing and you're producing, it does relieve a lot of stress from me in that moment, especially as you learn more about producing. As the more we do it, the more, experienced you are, the more you're looking for those things. And there's still a lot of things where we're learning and I'm having to suggest things to you and stuff like that. But like we are getting better at that. And I would agree with that. What has working together taught you?
That I want to do it for the rest of my life with you.
Oh. Same. I love you.
Love you.
What are your favorite memories / moments from working together?
This is like we were still working together, I'd say, but it wasn't on set. But I think it was when we got that first investment check.
That was cool.
I think that was a really cool moment for us.
It was hand delivered.
Yes. And it was like, this is the next step.
Yeah. We took a Polaroid together.
Yes.
Do you want to tell the scary part of that story?
Yes, I would love to, but
it's okay. We've already spent the money, so it doesn't matter.
Sorry to our first
investor
who might listen to this.
We love you, just so you know.
And appreciate you so much. But this silly goose over here next to me, let's just say he kept that check in his Polaroid bag that, you know, to be fair, there was no name, like who was written on, because we didn't know, like, it was supposed to be.
No, that's the worst part of it, is that's not a to be fair, that is the worst part of it.
That is the worst part. We didn't know.
Because someone could have written their name on there and it wouldn't have had any problems.
Yeah, but he left it in his Polaroid bag.
I left essentially a blank check of a decent size of money in my Polaroid bag for 2 weeks, a month, until our LLC was formed. So I can go figure out the actual amount of time.
Yeah. And I remember I was like, oh, I'll hold on to this baby. Like, no, it's okay. And I think that's maybe now why, like, there's still some things to this day that you're like, this scares me if I hold on to it.
I have hold on to a lot of things now. Ironically, that Polaroid bag did eventually get stolen. So it was way after this.
Yeah, way after.
Some money had been spent. Everything was okay.
Yeah.
We only lost some Polaroids, and the camera itself was very sad. I had like 20 Polaroids in there I'd missed from my album. Some from the production of Paralysis. So that was very sad. That was a great moment, though, because it was just very much like, wow, we were really doing this. There's a check right here for a decent amount of money that can get us started on this project.
Oh,
wow.
I have another moment, but like I said, it's not a working together moment, but I still feel like...
Say it.
When we went to my film fest.
That was really cool.
You were with me. I think that was a really cool moment of just having you by my side. I still, I mean, technically, I feel like that is working together.
I agree.
You know, you supporting me in something.
I agree with that.
So that was really cool.
Horiath. I think one of my favorite moments, and I feel like people on the crew meme these moments, but was whenever we would rap, finally. We rapped on Paralysis technically 3 times. I only said speeches twice. So we had the initial production, Kansas City production, LA production. I gave a speech on both the main production and LA production. And I feel like there's just like, when it's like, that's a wrap, speech is over. The first person I went to, it's on camera, I'm sure we're going to play it over this. The first person I went to was Maddie, and I gave her a hug and a kiss.
I was like, where's my girlfriend?
Because that's who I want. This is the person that like I've spent the most time with on this, besides like Sam, and who has been there with me for the moments where I'm up at night crying because I don't know how we're gonna do this, to the biggest victories of that film. You were there for me the entire time, so of course I wanted to come and, you know, thank you first and love on you first. And then I went and gave everyone else hugs too.
Big smooches.
Big smooches. Only you and Russ got those.
Russ, you got smooches from Jake?
Something like that.
I got a little teary-eyed there.
I know, you're making me teary-eyed.
Yeah, but I think that was like one of my favorite memories, because it's just like, we did this together. You know, we did it together, and it was a big, as you can see from this episode, it was very difficult times, but we did it. And it's not over yet. We still have a lot to go. And I'm sure once we finally see that film on the big screen in front of an audience, that'll be our new favorite memory and our most relief. And when it's sold, it'll be the most relief, because it's not ours to worry about anymore. But before we get into audience questions, I got one more question, and you got to be careful with this one. Without giving it away, what project or projects are you most looking forward to working on together of our docket of projects that have not been announced? Or that have been announced?
I mean, I'm excited about all of them.
Yeah. Is there one in particular?
Selfishly, I'm going to have to say probably one of mine.
That's okay.
I don't know, just because I think just knowing that you would be there for me, even if I'm not directing it, something that I've held on. A lot of the things that we've talked about, I've held on since I was like 13 or 16.
It's a lot of encouragement of going back and looking at them and being like what works and what doesn't.
Yeah, and just knowing like that process. And I think that's encouraging for me.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for that to bring it to life. But also all yours I'm so excited about. And I'm like,
this podcast, one of them?
Oh, yes. I'm so, like I was telling you yesterday, I was like, I love this. I'm so excited. Like, this makes me so happy for you, and I'm very proud. Yeah.
Thank you, babe.
I don't know how long we've been talking about it, but like...
We've been seriously talking about it since the beginning of the year, so about 7 months. Yeah. I don't think I said that in the episode, but I've been considering doing something like this for a long time. Originally, it was YouTube videos. I actually filmed a YouTube video breaking down a music video years ago. I never put it out. I hated it. And so then at the beginning of this year, it was like, oh, podcast. Maybe that's the best way to do this. And so far, I think it is. Yes. But we'll find out. But I think my project I'm most looking forward to is probably doing another feature with hopefully more money behind it.
Yes.
I hope that's It's Okay. We've talked about that. That's the only other feature publicly out there that we've announced that we're going to work towards. So I hope It's Okay. If it's not It's Okay, some version of It's Okay will still come out because I have to. But if it's not It's Okay, it'll be something cool that I don't want to talk about yet. But I have 2 other features that are really awesome I also love to make. Or one of the TV shows we're talking about doing pilot or something like that would be also really cool. So I'd say something like that. But also this podcast for now, it's great. Or do the commercials. I know we want to do spec commercials.
Yes, we've talked about spec commercials.
If you want to hire me to direct a commercial, please let me know. I'd love to do it.
Yes.
Now let's get into the audience questions. I'm going to try and do these really quick because we don't have a ton of time left. I had to be done in 15 minutes. So Devin Juden asked 4 great questions. First, when did you decide to steal Devin's idea of having a producer girlfriend? Devin, I think every director has that idea. It is not just yours. I'm just the first one to have done it out of the people we know. Boom. We love Tori. She's cool. She's just not a producer yet. Maybe Devin's working towards that. Actual questions. How does being in a relationship affect your projects? I think for me, now everything I make involves you. Everything I consider making, think about making, you are involved in it in always as a producer in some form. I mean, it was funny. We had this discussion recently with It's Okay, where I was talking about doing the rewrite or something. And I was talking about you producing it and you were like, am I producing it? And I was like, yeah, why would you not? Like, I don't know. It's just like blah, blah. And I was like, Maddie, if I am making something, henceforth, assume you are producing it. That's just how this is going to work. Yeah. So I think that's the big thing.
Before me.
It's a project before you, yes.
Even though it didn't start, but like you were, you know what I mean.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's definitely how it affects it for me. Because like now everything is like, okay, how can Maddie and I make this? Not just how do I make this? What about you? It was how does being in a relationship affect your projects?
What was the question again? I think just very positive. Like I was saying, we just can lean on each other for things. We can ask each other about stuff and grow from it. Like I love reading your scripts and I love taking notes and leaving little personal notes on them. Like when I read It's Okay, the first, I don't know what version of it, stuff like that, to be able to, like, it just makes me truly so happy of being able to work together. I mentioned in the last episode about screenwriting, about how I write in my scripts. Before I wrote in this last version of It's Okay, I actually gave it to Maddie and had her go through and write notes on it. But she was very nice, and I'm not very nice to myself about it. She was like, this is a really cute scene. And then I'm like, it's 3 out of 10. This is a horrible scene. You're a shit writer. But like, she's like, this is really cute. I mean, I did enjoy it. There wasn't anything that I was like, gosh, this is terrible, No, I was. I don't know. Maybe because you, like you said, and this is going to be a total other podcast, you realized, at least being in a relationship, how you feel and how that changes. So you realize you want to change your characters. You want to change this to where you had that mindset when you read it. Versus when I read it, I was like, wow, look at this script my boyfriend wrote. That podcast won't come out probably for a long time because the film probably needs to be out before I talk about that. But so, if you're interested in investing in a romantic drama feature film after I'm finished with my
psychological horror thriller, please let me know. Devin also asks, how do you split your producer responsibilities? I think we do a decent job. Yeah. There's certain things that I just know more than you, and I have to like either teach you how to do it, or I just decide to do it. You do a lot of the actual, unfortunately, paperwork and stuff like that, but you're much more organized than I am, so that just kind of fits that side of you better. Where I might be doing more of the like overall like big picture producing thing, but I also ask you for help there a lot too.
Yeah, I mean, I think a hard thing for doing Paralysis for me doing that was I'm still learning stuff, but also like certain paperwork, I'm like, okay, these are producer things, but like I don't want to step on your toes. You know, this is your name, your company under certain things to where it's like I want to ask you permission or double check. Maybe that's what producers do. But
we're doing like indie producing stuff. Yes. So like big producing stuff, sometimes producers don't even show up on set. They just have their name on it. But like for indie producing, it's kind of like you're doing everything that you weren't able to hire for. And so it does suck in a lot of ways. But I think we do a good job of splitting it. And we split, I'd say relatively 50-50. Like we usually, like if we have an issue, we're like working on it together. You know, or at least like the other day we were doing stuff like our accountant had asked us a bunch of questions that we were behind on, and we did a good job of like splitting that up. Where like you had done, I answered some of the questions, but then you went through most of them and like narrowed it down. Then I went and made it more specific or like found the ones you couldn't find.
I think the like goal we tried to do that I recommend. I mean, you should just do this anyways. At least what I found helpful was, we work together producing wise before we get on set, and then once it's on set, I try and do as much as I can so it doesn't pull you away. Except for those few things, I was like,
I agree with that. That was good. The final question from Devin is, where do you see yourselves together in the next 5 years, the next 10 years? Let's try to keep this brief. Relationship wise, married in the next 5 years for sure, and probably have at least a kid or at least one on the way. Work wise, I hope another feature film out, if not potentially. I'd like to have another feature film out so we have 2 out and maybe a third one that's in production or post-production, or if we're really cool, already out as well. So I got some, guys. I got more than just It's Okay. So if you want to hear more and you want to invest, let me know. Next 10, gosh, I hope we have a couple films out. I hope we have a couple kids. I hope we are happily married. I know we'll be happily married. And just continuing to work together. You know, maybe we are more successful now. This is our main thing now. We don't have to do anything outside of directing and producing. And that's what it is. That's our moneymaker. That's our life. And that's what we have to work. Maybe a couple cool awards. Maybe a couple of bigger budget films. Maybe an Oscar. Oscar by 36.
You 36 or me?
Well, 10 years for me is 36.
Oh, okay.
For you, 34. So that's even cooler for you. Yeah. What about you, babe?
Everything you said. And I think to add to it, even in 5, at least 10, to be able to have opportunities for young filmmakers to get on set and learn from us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or to have workshops.
We already tried that with Paralysis.
Yeah, so we did that with Paralysis, which I loved. Was I opened up, since we were filming so close to where I graduated from college, even though it was summer, not everyone was there, but having like internship opportunities. So my friend Sydney was an intern, and she was a second AD, so she got to learn on set and be on set, and then also pulling in
and got school credit for it.
And got school credit, but also like a few of my other friends that I went to college with, some already crew members, and so, but some of them were just PAs. But then like Susie went from a PA to
second AC on the second day,
and I still am just so impressed with seeing that growth.
That's like her thing now.
That is like,
she's great.
She's so good at it. And then, you know, being able to get back with people after Paralysis and seeing that growth of what Paralysis gave is so crazy cool. Yeah. And that's what I want us to still be able to do for people.
Absolutely. So the next question has nothing to do with me and Maddie's relationship, but I just loved it so much. Zach Turner asks, will you ever bring back Red Flashlight? So very few of you are going to know what that is. But Red Flashlight, you know how I mentioned in the previous episode that my first film was Fat Man, a Batman parody. We made Red Flashlight, which was a Green Lantern parody starring Ryan Murr. I need to show it to Maddie so she has context. But Zach's an old friend of mine who was, I think we're going to make him a superhero parody too. I can't remember what it was. But no, Zach, unfortunately, there are no plans to ever bring back Red Flashlight. That is actually really hard to find on the internet. I don't think you guys can find it anymore. I'd be surprised if you could. I can though, so I'll have a couple clips on here and I'll show it to you. This is a great question. Dylan Black asks, what's one project you wish you could have worked on that your partner made? For me, the only one that really comes to mind truly is Hariath. Mm-hmm. I feel like Hariath would have been cool to have produced. Obviously, it was a personal story for you. Yeah. I had written a film with similar themes that I don't plan on making anymore. So I feel like Hariath could have been like my way to like have still made parts of that film. Obviously, I met Lauren later after I'd seen the film after we've been together for a while. But I think still like being able to tell her story would have been really cool. And I think that's definitely the project that I would have wanted to work on. And I think it'd been really cool. I think also like you made it in a very different circumstance than if I was attached to. Like you made it where like you had like 6 hours a day, if not less, to do 3. It. 3 hours a day for how many days? Just like basically a class. 6 yeah, days. And it's really good for that, knowing that you had that little time. So if I was attached, it probably also would have had more time. I know you would have been able to make an even better film.
Yeah, but I was on a crunch because
you were on a crunch.
I had to get it done to show it before I graduated. Yeah. So I started
thesis films
August, and I graduated and showed it in December. Yeah. So it was very crunched, but I mean, I don't think you can tell.
Yeah, they can't. What about Project of Mine for you?
You have so many.
What can I say?
I think I was thinking about this yesterday. One of the music videos, at least for Sam's, one of the like later ones, I don't know.
Thought of Me Cry, second choice.
I don't know.
The never made my version of Playa del Rey was pretty cool. Just didn't have the money for it.
I don't know. Just those music videos that you did out here were really cool.
Yeah. None in particular that if that was the one.
I wish,
all of them.
To me, like I know they're separate, but I wish like could kind of be on all of them.
It would have been cool. I mean, they're all one story, so yeah.
That's the sense of it.
It was cool to be a part of all of them. I was gonna say for my project, I love have you been on. I think it'd been fun if you were on XYZ because I feel like you were low key around there.
I was.
We just didn't know each other.
We didn't add that in when we talked about how we met. We had lived how far away?
So my parents lived 10 minutes from her parents. So we were very close. We had a lot of common friends. I think the reason we didn't ever met because they weren't like close friends of mine. They're more old friends of mine. And I don't necessarily know they're even close friends of yours either. They're Addison is, that's true. Yeah. And so like
it's okay. I don't blame you, Addison.
Yeah. But like like I was very far out of Addison's circle by the time we got introduced. I hadn't seen her in a long time. Yeah. But we grew up together in theater. So that's like where like we knew each other. But I hadn't done theater with them in probably 10 years by the time we met. Actually more than that. So yeah. But
that would have been cool.
That would have been cool to have you in XYZ for sure. So the final question, which I think is a great question, and it could be a whole topic in itself of this podcast, but we don't have a lot of time left. Susie asks, we talked about Susie earlier, shout out Susie. What is the balance for you in hanging out and talking about life without work taking over? It's difficult.
Yes, so difficult.
It's very difficult. I think because I'm a type of guy who, when something gets on my mind, I need to talk about it or it will like drive me nuts. So if I have a problem with our production, then it's like I have to talk about it. And she's my producer, so I'm gonna talk to her about it. But she's also my girlfriend. So it's like I think that it's difficult. It's in that we are constantly trying to work on. Because like I said earlier, I don't want it to be a thing where like someday we just are a director-producer duo that happen to be married and have kids. I don't want that. I want it to be first that we are a loving married couple with kids who also happen to be a director-producer duo. Like, I want that more than anything in the world.
Well, and I don't want, for me or for you, any projects we have that we're like, oh, I don't want to talk to them about it because I don't.
Yeah.
To where I have that support built in my life.
Yeah.
To talk about things.
It's difficult to separate work. Like,
Yes.
because it's with you constantly.
Yeah.
And that's what we talked about with the episode with the guys. Is sometimes it's hard to take work home because it's like you're always with the people you work with.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've gotten a better balance of it since Paralysis. Obviously, we talked about Paralysis, how it was kind of difficult. I think we have...
We'll talk about what we did when we were, well, I guess
in pre-production?
So it was the week before we started.
The final week of pre-production.
We were in the house that we film in. I don't know, from 8 or 9. So like we tried to do like a 9 to 5 kind of thing of work. And then we go out to dinner, go get Andy's.
And that was a great balance.
Yeah.
We had and that's why we had a hard time recreating it in production, because I wanted to rest. She might want to go out to dinner, because that was a great thing. I loved doing that, but it was difficult to work out. So during pre-production, we had it perfect. We'd work for 8 hours a day, and we try our best not to talk about it at all while we go to Andy's, go mini golfing, go to dinner. You know, we did a really good job of that. And so I think that, it's something that we're working on still, and it's something that we have to like put a lot of attention to.
I feel like it definitely will change.
Yeah, and it depends on when we're busy. Like, you know, like during like the heaviest times of Paralysis, we did not talk much about life because life was Paralysis.
I mean, I think there's more like film stuff, but like I remember I left set crying like while you guys are filming, and I felt like I couldn't, not because I don't know, I felt like I couldn't go to you because Jake's in director mode. I don't want to pull him aside. He needs to make his day. Yeah. But that was very hard because we wouldn't go home together. I
do think that would have helped. I think when we're married and we live together, we'll be able to have that balance again, because it's like we're at home. We're not going to talk about this. Yeah. Maybe the car rides are debrief.
Car rides, yeah.
Is our debrief, but like once we enter the home with our children, it's like we're not talking about work anymore. We're talking about the kids' day, and we're talking about this. We're watching our TV shows. We're playing our video games. We're reading our books. Maddie loves Mario Party right now. We're playing it after this episode. And so, I think it's difficult, but we're trying to find that balance. I think it's another thing we can work on, is find that balance better. Yes. That's a great question, Susie. Thank you for asking that. And that's going to do it for this episode. Before we go, Maddie, do you have any current theater recommendations for films to go see in theaters? And do you have any recommendations for films to watch at home?
By this time this is out, this movie will be already out, so I'm hoping it's good. Fantastic Four. Seeing it what?
We're seeing 3 days.
In 3 days. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for it. I really hope it's good. So you should go see it. And then oh wait, do you say?
No, you can go. Just say you're at home.
In-home one. I'm a huge Planet of the Apes gal. So the newest one, and I'm blanking on it.
Kingdom.
So good. I have a DVD
with the raw
cut that I want to watch so bad.
It's a cut where, like, instead of the CGI over them, they're just in the mocap suits.
That's bizarre.
I don't know if it's like...
I say that's bananas.
That's bananas.
I don't know
Banana! Donkey Kong
I don't know how
it's
going to look, but, like, I want to watch it so bad.
We need to watch it soon. Yeah.
It's going to be so cool.
My theater recommendation, once again, is not out yet, but I know we'll be seeing it soon. At least, I don't know if you're coming. I think you are. Yeah. But since we're a couple, let's talk about Together, which is the Alison Brie and Dave Franco movie. It's a horror movie about them slowly becoming conjoined. It looks really gross, but I'm excited to see it. So that comes out actually really soon, before this episode comes out, so I'll come in and edit for sure if it's not good. But I'm excited for it, and I can't wait to see it. At home recommendation, I'm going to recommend a trilogy that we just finished, the Before trilogy. I think that it's a great little slice of life trilogy. It's very simple. We bought it on Criterion Collection and watched all 3 together, and it was beautiful. They're a beautiful little story. I would go Before Sunset, Before Sunrise, and then Before Midnight in my ranking. I think you had a little bit of a different ranking.
I think I did. I think I like the second one more.
Well, that's the one I like more too. That's Sunset.
Wait. I don't remember.
Sunrise is the first one, Sunset's the second one, Midnight's the third one.
I think I was 2, 3, 1.
I think you were. I think you liked the one the least, right? You like Midnight second best.
I don't remember.
I don't know. You fell asleep during midnight.
Yes, classic me falling asleep.
She falls asleep. We have to watch movies at no later than 9 o'clock or she falls asleep.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, Jake from the future cutting in here at the end of the episode just for a couple updates. One, when this episode was recorded, it was recorded back in, I think, was it June? It was in July. It was recorded in July and just released, 6 months later. Well, something changed 6 months ago. Maddie, do you want to come show them? Just come in the frame. Oh my gosh, are you okay? We got engaged. You okay?
You're keeping that in, please.
Oh, for sure. We got engaged. So yeah, Maddie's not my fiance, and I'm her fiance. So I just wanted to, update that. And then I also wanted to give a quick update on the show so far. We recorded these first 4 episodes all around that July period, and we sat on them way too long. But honestly, the reception to them has been great. I've really enjoyed putting them together. I know so has Maddie. And we're excited to do more. This is coming from the end of another session of recording 3 additional episodes, our Directing 101 episode, our Producing 101 episode, and our episode with Peter Foldy. So we just wanted to announce that we are doing more, but we are going to take a little holiday break. Obviously, Christmas is just in 2 days, and Maddie and I are going to be very busy visiting family. So the next episode is not going to come out in 2 weeks. It's going to come out in a month. So episode 5 will come out on January 20th. And then the plan is to resume our bi-weekly schedule. When we get back in town, we'll also record another couple episodes. We got some other guests lined up and hoping to get even more. So yeah, thank you guys. And back to the end of this episode.
But that's going to be it for this episode, guys. Those are our recommendations for your theater and at home watching. Shout out to my producers, Maddie Main. I'm going to give you a kiss. Maddie Main. Russ Greasy, I'll come give you your kiss after. No. Come here. And Brett Gaffney, who's not here for his kiss. And shout out to Wonder View Venues for letting us come and record. Mm-hmm. Thank you all for tuning in. This has been a great... We recorded these first 4 episodes in the last 2 days, so it's been a fun ride. Thank you. I'm looking forward to making many more. Keep creating and keep dreaming. See you guys later.